Congratulations, you made it to the last day of drafting your essay. You're going to draft 3 versions of a conclusion paragraph today. So let's go ahead and jump in there. So let's start with this question. What is in a good conclusion paragraph? By the end of this video, you should be able to tell me what is in a good conclusion paragraph. And you're going to write 3 different versions of yours. I want you to think about the last piece of the puzzle for your paper, for your essay. You're tying everything up, okay? You don't want to leave any loose ends. You want to give the reader a sense of closure, which really all that means is just a sense of completeness, okay? You don't want to bring up anything new in the conclusion. You want to take all of your main points and you want to close them out. Maybe it's with a quote, maybe it's with a final story, maybe it's just restating your main points in a different way. The first thing that you need to do is you need to review your entire essay. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. Remember, my essay is different. The purpose of my essay is to describe life in Philadelphia in 1793. The purpose of your essay is to describe the symptoms, causes, and the doctor's disagreements about yellow fever. So we have 2 different essays. So your essay shouldn't be like mine, okay? Your conclusion should not be like mine. You have a different essay. So let's start by reviewing our essay. Here's my essay so far. In August 1793, dead fishing cats were lying around and mosquitoes were everywhere in Philadelphia. It was very hot and crowded, and the air was heavy and humid. I'm going to just make one change real quick. I'm going to make my mouse. Here we go. The swamps and marshes had lost water and the rivers receded. Murphy, page 1. There was a terrible odor from spoiled coffee at the docks that could be smelled throughout the city. Murphy, page 3. Philadelphia was the largest city in North America, and some odd things were occurring. Some people felt uneasy. Recently, there were many wild pigeons for sale at a market, and popular folklore suggested that such an abundance of pigeons always brought with it unhealthy air and sickness. Murphy, page 6. Dr. Rush sensed that something odd was happening. He was concerned about the illness his patients had, and he thought there was something in the heat and drought, which was uncommon. Murphy, page 6. The Reverend J. Henry C. Helmuth thought something was wrong in the city because people drank, gambled, and went to the taverns instead of church. He said that the city would feel God's displeasure. On August 3rd, a poor French sailor at Richard Denny's boarding house was desperately ill with a fever, had violent seizures, then died a few days later. Murphy, page 7. Several other guests at Denny's also got sick and died. There ended up being 8 people from 2 houses on the same street who died on 1 week, but the city did not take notice. Murphy, page 9. They didn't notice because summer fevers were common and because Denny's was located on a street where things went unnoticed by the authorities and the rest of the population. Murphy, page 7. All right. So I just want to tie up that some odd things were happening. People felt uneasy and some people were dying. Okay, those are my main points of my essay, right? You see my thesis here, some odd things were occurring. Computer's kind of slow. Some odd things were occurring. Some people felt uneasy, and this sailor died, and some other people had died. Okay, so let's go on to write our conclusion. Not to sneeze. Cool. Excuse me. All right, here's version 1. Even though many people were beginning to die, the people of Philadelphia did not realize that a killer was already moving through their streets with them. An invisible stalker that would go house to house until it had touched everyone, rich or poor in some terrible way. Murphy, page 9. A terrible fever was just beginning, and the people of Philadelphia had no idea. Okay, I've provided some closure. I've restated my main points that there were strange things happening. People were dying. Nobody noticed. I'm going to change up some things for version 2 and really look at my transition words. Many people were beginning to die, but the people of Philadelphia did not realize that a killer was already moving through their streets with them, an invisible stalker that would go house to house until it had touched everyone, rich or poor, in some terrible way. Murphy, page 9. A terrible fever was just beginning, and the people of Philadelphia had no idea. I'm actually going to change my transition word but to however, and then I'm going to switch around the last sentence. So, many people were beginning to die. However, the people of Philadelphia did not realize that a killer was already moving through their streets with them, an invisible stalker that would go house to house until it had touched everyone, rich or poor, in some terrible way. Murphy, page 9. The people of Philadelphia had no idea that a terrible fever was beginning. I like version 1 because of the flow. It flows with the rest of the essay because of the transition at the beginning of the paragraph. Even though many people were beginning to die, the people of Philadelphia did not realize. The paragraph right above that was about the French sailor dying. And so my conclusion just has that transition. It flows really nicely. So I like version 1. So the last step is just to copy and paste version 1 into your final essay, and make sure that the last slide that you have has your entire essay, your introduction, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion. Make sure it's got all of that, because that's what I'll be looking at for your grade. Good luck. If you have any questions, rewatch the video or reach out to me on Google Classroom. Remember, your conclusion, you want to provide closure and completeness for your essay. Good luck.